Okay. So in the earlier lecture, we discussed about risk. Now, the next topic which we are going to discuss is the last topic of this module. Okay. It's a very small topic. And with this topic, we will be winding up the third module. Okay. So risk involved in business we have seen, types of risk management also. Next is contingency plan. What is contingency plan? Contingencies कभी होता है, like it happens when some challenges are there in the organization. So it is not about major disasters. Contingency plan is a normal activity which is found in every organizations. And what is this plan? This plan is to prepare for some events, some unforeseen events. It is a type of risk only. So contingency plan is a normal activity to prepare for not only major disaster, but also events such as loss of people, loss of data, loss of customers, etc. It emerges from a thorough analysis of the risk and organization phases. So we can say on a smaller scale, when we talk about a smaller scale, it is just like preparing for the loss of data, loss of people, maybe a staff is quitting from the organization, then how to find a replacement, such things. But it is not only that, it is also like covering every aspect. And it is very important to have a contingency plan, and it should be part of every organization where you're working. Now, why we should draw this contingency plan? It is developed, a contingency plan is developed, as I told you over here, from a thorough analysis of the risk an organization is facing. It is always helpful in thinking about an alternative project. You might have heard about plan A, plan B and all. What if plan A is not working? Do you have a plan B in your hand? That is contingency planning. That is what happens when plan A doesn't go as expected. Sometimes plan A is facing some issues. There is some, like it is just moving, companies are working as usual, organizations are moving as usual, but sometimes it is not, it is not, yes, it is not happening successfully. Then do you have a backup plan? Rightly Mehak has mentioned over here, backup plan or a plan B. That is contingency plan. That is when plan A does not work, you use your contingency plan. That is, you're preparing the organization. It is not that every time you will have to use this contingency plan. Contingency plan is used only when there such a situation is emerging, or such a contingency is emerging in the organization. For this, a good contingency plan should identify all the critical business functions, and always we should be prepared to minimize the losses. As I told you in the earlier lecture also, risk cannot be avoided at all, but we can only reduce the impact of the risk on our business. For that, we have to even identify the various risks. For that, a risk analysis is conducted. Then once we conduct a risk analysis, we will be having a huge list of potential threats our company might face. Huge list. And as per this list, we have to make this contingency plan. For that, we have to prioritize the risk. Prioritize means we should have a balanced approach over here. Like where we have to give more importance, that we have to find out, and accordingly, the contingency plan should be worked out. Now, it is very helpful for companies because always anytime we can say that an unpredicted situation can happen. We cannot predict everything in the market. We cannot foresee, or we cannot exactly understand what would be the next step in the market, because market is full of challenges. Market is changing. It's very dynamic. It can change every time. So it is always good to have a contingency plan with every organization. Now, how do we develop it? Developing a contingency plan. Now, there are several guidelines on how to develop a contingency plan. It may be differing from company to company, depending on the type of industry, type of business and all they are engaged in. These are some general points in developing a contingency plan. Maintain the business operations. Like always maintain that level of business operations which you are doing. Don't aim suddenly for a huge profit. Don't aim suddenly for attracting more and more customers. That may result in loss. That itself will involve inviting risk for the company. Instead, maintain that business operations consistently. Define time period. Time period means when are you expecting to implement this period, this particular plan? Are you trying to introduce a new product in the market? What time of the year? What period of the year? So that time period should be definite. Identify the trigger. Trigger means find out when will be the situation where you have to use the contingency plan. All this can be done when the entrepreneur is having a quick decision making mind. We have already seen the features of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs should be a good decision maker. They should be proactive and all. So with these qualities, they can easily identify the trigger which may result in having a contingency plan, and at the same time using that contingency plan. Keep the plan simple. Whatever plan you are having, keep it very simple. It should not be like that. For overcoming this contingency, you will have to bring another contingency plan. Instead, it should be kept very simple. Consider the related resource restrictions. That is very important. When plan A is not working, we can go for plan B. But just imagine if the plan B is requiring more resources, then it will not work out. So always see whether the organization can work in the same situation if plan B is implemented. So you should identify that for plan B, if it is requiring so many resources, then there is no meaning only. Then identify everyone's need. Everyone here means all employees need, all the stakeholders requirements. Identify operational inefficiencies. Inefficiencies means where the mistake can happen in the company. Try to identify those inefficiencies. Include contingency plans in the standard operating procedures or SOPs. SOPs means the word which we are hearing quite frequently nowadays, especially after this pandemic period and all. We can see that when you are opening a school, standard operating procedures should be followed. For festivals, standard operating procedures should be followed. What is the standard operating procedures then? It is the guidelines which are supposed to be followed uniformly. When it is released, when standard operating procedures are released, it means it should be followed uniformly throughout wherever it is applicable. So include these contingency plans also in the standard operating procedures, and see that, or whenever we are informing the employees that these plans are there, see that the training is also given to the people, so that if plan A is not working out, plan B should be immediately started, and employees should not be kept, like they should not be kept isolated over here. Okay, so please go through this contingency plans, and these are just, as I told you, these are just guidelines which companies can follow. Like it can be some of the companies may be following in this way. For some of the large companies, they will be requiring a much more what you can say contingency plans in a very big way. They will have it. They will be like, they will be needing to implement it. So there are so many reasons why companies may choose to have this contingency plan. Okay, so please go through this. So क्या है chat box में? Can you give examples of SOPs? Yeah, now SOPs are very common. Like I tell you one example with, like in the context of COVID itself, I'll tell you. Like we can say that maintaining social distancing, wearing of the mask, using hand sanitizer. Then many times in hospitals वगैरह में भी वो रखते हैं, like the standard operating procedures to be followed in hospitals. Like sometimes we can say that moving patients into the hospitals, transportation of patients from the home to the hospital. What are the requirements to be considered? Or bystanders, are they allowed or not? If the patient is having comorbidities, or comorbidities means any other disease, at that time what are the things to be followed? Then is there a COVID helpline? Helpline systems are there? Yes, systems are there or not? Then like that, then who is responsible for which type of job? And after this work is done, what is the next procedure? So standard operating procedures means the guidelines. This what I told you is about hospitals. Same way when schools and all start, they will be releasing again standard operating procedures. Like now recently they are planning to open in many parts. So sometimes it's like allowing only 2 children in a bench. Again, trying to disinfect in all the areas. Then recently I will tell you now what I have read till now. November 1st onwards, they are going to start the schools and colleges and all in Kerala. Now October 3rd say, no, October 4th say colleges, that too only for final year students and for PG students. And November 1st, they are going to plan to start from the primary classes to all the classes in almost no, एक दो classes शायद 7th या 8th छोड़ के बाकी all the classes they are planning to start. They have already released this standard operating procedures and all. Like here what happens, again all the people should be vaccinated, like who are eligible for vaccination, they should be vaccinated. Then the drivers and all who are going to pick and drop the children, they should be vaccinated. They should have 10 years of experience. All the vehicles should be sanitized. Like that, so many standard operating procedures are there. That is guidelines or protocols which are to be followed. So why this is to be included in contingency plan? Because for plan A, we will be having certain plans. But when it comes to plan B also, we should see that we are getting prepared for the same. Then it is contingency plan. Now, moving ahead, this is one of the last topic over here. Scheduling. What is a schedule? A schedule is a timetable, we can say. Basic time management tool consisting of list of times at which possible tasks, events or actions are intended to take place, or a sequence of items in the chronological order. It includes short-term and long-term schedules. Why the schedules are created and why it is required? The process of creating a schedule is called scheduling, and the person responsible for making the schedule is called as a scheduler. This is not a new concept. Scheduling is part of it's a human activity which was there since ancient times. Now, as mentioned over here, scheduling includes short-term and long-term, and like it could be daily schedules, weekly schedules, long-term, yearly schedules, and all. Like just like how we are using a calendar, the person making the schedule also will be noting down the dates and times at which various events are being planned in the organization. So what happens is that it makes the order, possible tasks, events, actions, and all which are possible to take place or which are intended to take place. Again, we have to use the term intended over here because risk is involved. Anytime the plans also may go out of order. So scheduling means making a timetable, very simple, making a timetable by a scheduler, and which will contain a list of items which are supposed to happen in this particular period. Then last topic here is milestones. Milestones. Scheduler is the person who is making the schedule, and scheduling is the process of making the schedule. Schedule is the timetable, we can say in simple. Okay. Then another term here is milestone. What is milestone? Milestones are again similar to this simple project tools that will help to set goals, priorities, and work schedules. Milestones, what we have to achieve. Okay, next what we have to achieve. For example, the company has introduced a new product and it is going well successfully in different areas, but now they would like to enter into a new area. So the next milestone, that is which will help to set the goals, priorities, and work schedules. Now, but the thing is that it should be achievable. Milestone should be achievable. It should not be like something too big, which makes the person who is making the milestone stressful, or he or she may feel conflicted in the mind. He or she may face several other problems, and because of all these things, they may even drop this idea. So it should not be like that. It is very much like the goals which we want to achieve. Okay, so there are some routine which can be followed over here. Like SMART routine can be followed over here. SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Now, apart from this, they are also mentioning some other points like it should be open, it should be small, it should be assignable, progressive, and all. But here we are focusing only on these 5 aspects. SMART routine, which includes specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. So milestones, whatever milestone you're having in a mind, it should be specific. For example, just now I told you they have now covered almost all the areas, urban areas. They would like to enter into a rural area for marketing their products. It should be specific, which place, by when you're planning to start the business, and what are the other requirements for that. It should be specific. So when you're looking at this milestone, you should be exactly knowing what you want to do and what are the things required to do it. It should not be something which is vague or which is not doable or which is so confusing and all. It should be something which you can do. Then measurable. Effective milestone should also be able to measure. Like, how do we measure the actions? This is very much subjective in nature. How do we measure something? We can make a to-do list. To-do list, you might be knowing, means what are the things to be done for getting this object, for getting this goal achieved, and simply making a to-do list. And with this, we can easily understand. We can just make a mark whether we have completed it or not, completed that particular task, or whether we have not completed that particular task. So it can be measured in that way. Then attainable, as I told you, if the milestone or the goal which we are having is too big, it will create unnecessary burden, stress, mental stress and all for that person who is making this. Instead, it should be something which is attainable. It should not be too big or too confusable so that it does not even become attainable. And we will not be even able to complete in such cases. The thing is making it small and attainable. Then relevant, like for example, just take the same example. They want to set up they want to market in the rural area. Now they are feeling that with the same resources, they are trying to identify some more rural areas instead of one. What happens now? That will be much more burden for the company. Instead, go slowly, goes in a small way, but go for an achievable or an attainable aim. Then definitely it should be relevant. If the milestone is so confusing or the goal itself is so confusing with too many aspects which are not at all relevant or which are out of the scope of the project, then it may unnecessarily distract the entrepreneur and even it may not make your projects on the track. So ensure that the milestones are relevant to your project. It should be tied up to the project. Then timely. Just like schedules, milestones also should be prepared for time. Like it can be tracked against a calendar. Like there should be start time, we can say, or a due time, and of course with the chances of we can say a slight percentage of moving in and out. And without this timely milestones, we cannot get the things done because there will not be any kind of deadlines. We also say this deadlines means the time which we are expecting to complete a particular task. So if you are not following these milestones over here, it is a very good example of procrastination. What is procrastination? Procrastination means keeping on postponing the things. And we keep on postponing the things that we will do it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and the list, and tomorrow some other new work will be coming. And like that, everything might get mixed up. And the aim which we had in our mind, that will remain incomplete. Otherwise, we will be able to complete it, but in a very hurry, and we will not be able to get the exact result what we had expected. So milestones are goals or aims which are specific, which are measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So this is the last topic in the third module. We'll just go to the first where we started. Just a quick revision. This is the module 3, entrepreneur project development. We saw with innovation, the meaning of innovation, categories of innovation, conditions, then what is invention, creativity, types of creativity, creativity process, ideation or idea generation, types of ideas, sources of idea generation, methods of generating new ideas for entrepreneurs, what is a project, features of a project. It's very important. Okay, project is very important and features are also important. Ideas or project identification almost similar to the earlier one. techniques, importance of project identification, constraints in project identification, classification of projects or ideas, environmental scanning, advantages, SWOT analysis, again very important, internal factors and external factors in SWOT. The first two are internal, the last two are external. Creating entrepreneurial venture, what are the steps for that? What is EDC, entrepreneurship development cycle? Business planning process, what is business plan? Again, very important. Objectives, steps, feasibility study, which we had seen today. Areas of feasibility study. What is a feasibility report? What is project appraisal? Means assessment of the project. Various aspects of project appraisal, risk involved in business, types of risk management, contingency plan, how to develop, scheduling, and milestones. These are the contents in the third module.